This is the IELTS Listening Practice Test 3. You will hear 4 recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. You will have time to read the instructions and questions before each part of the recording. You will hear each recording only once. The test is in 4 sections. Write your answers as you listen. Now, turn to Section 1. Section 1. You will hear a conversation between a student and a university accommodation officer. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 10. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 10.
Good morning, University Housing Office, Sarah speaking. How can I help you today?
Hi, my name is Alex Whittaker. I've been accepted into the computer science program starting next month, and I'm looking for accommodation. I wanted to ask about what options are available.
Congratulations on your acceptance, Alex. I'd be happy to help. Let's start with a few details. You said your name was Alex Whittaker. Could you spell your surname for me?
Sure, it's Whittaker.
Perfect. And you said you're starting the computer science program in September?
Yes, that's right. I'm quite excited, but I also want to make sure I get a place to stay sorted early.
That's a good idea. Our campus housing tends to fill up quickly. Are you looking for a shared room, or would you prefer something more private?
I'd prefer a single room if possible. I need a quiet environment to study.
Understood. We do have single studio rooms available in Greenfield Hall. It's a popular choice for computer science students because it's only a 5-minute walk from the department building.
That sounds ideal. What are the costs like?
The weekly rent for a single studio in Greenfield Hall is £130. That includes utilities like water, electricity, heating, and high-speed internet.
That's quite reasonable. Is there a deposit required?
Yes, there's a one-time security deposit of £250. It's fully refundable, assuming there's no damage to the room when you move out.
Got it. And the room itself? What's included in terms of furniture and facilities?
Each studio room is fully furnished. You'll have a bed, a wardrobe, a study desk with a chair, and shelving. There's also an ensuite bathroom and a small kitchenette with a microwave, a mini fridge, and a sink.
That's great. I don't really need much more than that.
There's also a shared laundry room on the ground floor. It's coin-operated, and we have dryers as well.
Excellent. I assume there's Wi-Fi access throughout the building?
Yes, all our residences are equipped with campus-wide Wi-Fi, and Greenfield Hall has excellent connectivity.
Perfect. What do I need to do to apply?
The application is done online. You'll need to complete the accommodation request form and upload a few documents, specifically a copy of your student ID, a passport-style photo, and a confirmation letter of admission.
All right. Can I pay the deposit online as well?
Yes, the payment portal will appear after you submit the documents. Once we receive everything, you'll get an email confirmation with your housing assignment within 5 working days.
That's very helpful. One last thing, do rooms get cleaned by staff?
Cleaning services aren't provided for individual rooms, but the common areas like hallways and the laundry room are maintained weekly.
That's fair. Thanks so much for all the information, Sarah. I'll get started on the form right away.
You're welcome, Alex. Let me know if you have any other questions. Good luck with your move and your studies.
That is the end of Section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Section 2. You will hear a guide giving a talk about a city walking tour. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 11 to 20.
Welcome to City Walks, our guided walking tour through the heart of the historical city centre. My name is Daniel and I'll be your guide for today. Before we begin the walk, I'd like to give you an overview of what you can expect during the tour, some background about how it started, and a few practical details to help you get the most out of your visit. Please make sure you have comfortable footwear on, as we'll be walking quite a bit, and do let me know at any time if you need a break or have questions. Let's begin with a bit of history. City Walks was first launched in 2015 by a local history enthusiast, Emma Clark, who wanted to help visitors connect with the city's rich past in an engaging and accessible way. It started as a small group of 5 people walking the streets once a week, and over the years, it has grown into one of the city's most popular tourist activities. Today, we have tours running every day, with thousands of visitors joining each month. Some guests even return for a second tour just to hear new stories from our guides. The starting point of our tour is Market Square. This location was chosen not just for its central position but also because it's full of life and history. On any given day, you can find street performers, food vendors, and artists displaying their work. In the past, Market Square was the city's main trading hub, where merchants sold everything from fabric to livestock. Some of the original merchant stalls have even been preserved as part of the square's current layout. From the square, we walk a few blocks north to St. Mary's Church. This beautiful structure dates back to the 14th century, and its bell tower still functions to this day. The church played a crucial role during the city's plague outbreak in the 1600s, serving both as a refuge and a hospital. You'll notice the Gothic architecture and stained glass windows, which tell biblical stories as well as depict historical city events. While we don't go inside during the standard tour, the premium option includes entry and a chance to climb the tower for panoramic views. Our next stop is the old library, located just behind the church. Although it's no longer used for reading, the building now operates as a museum, showcasing documents, photographs, and artifacts from the city's past. You'll see everything from medieval manuscripts to wartime posters. Entry is free, so feel free to return after the tour to explore it further. Now, let's talk about the types of tours we offer. We have a standard tour, which includes the main walking route and commentary. Then we have the premium tour, which is a bit more comprehensive. In addition to the full walking experience, premium participants receive entry tickets to all the attractions we pass, including St. Mary's Church and the Clock Tower, and are offered refreshments at the end of the tour, usually a selection of tea, coffee, and light snacks in our partner cafe. This is a great way to unwind and ask your guide any follow-up questions in a more relaxed setting. Each tour takes around 90 minutes, covering a distance of about 2 miles. The pace is moderate, with several stops for photographs and rest, so it's suitable for most fitness levels. We also provide optional audio headsets to help you hear the guide clearly even in busy areas. Now, before we begin, let me go over the weekly tour schedule and the guides you'll meet. This can help if you're planning to return or recommend a day to friends. On Mondays, the tour is led by Lisa, who is known for her storytelling and detailed knowledge of local folklore. Her tour begins a bit later than usual at 11:30 a.m. Wednesdays are handled by Tom, a retired school teacher who brings a humorous touch to the walk. His tours always begin promptly at 10 a.m. Fridays are a bit different. We don't assign a specific guide, but instead rotate between available staff depending on bookings. However, all Friday tours start at 11 a.m. Saturdays are the busiest days and Priya takes the lead. She's our youngest guide and very popular with international visitors. Her tour kicks off at 9:30 a.m. to make sure the group avoids the midday crowds. On Sundays, we feature our special family tour, which includes more interactive stops. It's run by David, and it begins at 10:30 a.m. sharp.
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Section 3. You will hear two students, Emily and Raj, discussing their environmental science group project. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 30. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 30.
Hey Raj, glad we could meet up today. I think we should get everything planned out for our group project on renewable energy. The deadline's coming up pretty fast.
Yeah, I agree. It's due on the 28th of May, right?
Exactly. Just under 2 weeks now. I don't want to rush it at the last minute, so let's divide the work properly today.
Good idea. So, the main topics are solar power, wind energy, and hydropower. Should we each take one to focus on?
Well, I've already done some background reading on wind energy, so I'd be happy to take that.
Perfect. I have a stack of notes on solar power from our last lecture, so I can work on that. I think we'll have a solid foundation if we start with what we already know.
That leaves hydropower. It's quite a big topic, maybe we can collaborate on that section.
Yeah, makes sense. It covers dams, turbines, water cycles, and even some legal and environmental concerns. Probably better if we split the work and then review it together.
Totally agree. Let's both research it, and then we can compare notes and write that section jointly.
Sounds good. Now, have you thought about the format for the final presentation?
I was thinking a PowerPoint slideshow. It's easier to keep the audience engaged, especially with visuals like graphs and charts. A poster might be too limiting.
Yeah, and videos might take too long to produce. PowerPoint it is. Plus, it gives us the option to embed short video clips if we want to.
Right. Now, for the written report, how should we divide it?
Well, I'm okay writing the main body, as long as you are comfortable doing the introduction and the conclusion.
Sure, I'm happy with that. I'll make sure the opening clearly states our aims, and I'll wrap it up by summarizing everything and giving a brief evaluation.
Perfect. Don't forget we need a references section too, but we can both contribute to that once we finalize our sources.
Oh, and we should also consider adding some visuals to the report, maybe a few infographics or diagrams to break up the text.
Yes, that's a good idea. I can handle those. I've got a bit of experience using design software.
Brilliant. Now, after we submit the report, do we also have to present it in class?
Yes, Professor Allen mentioned that in last week's lecture. Each group presents their findings to the rest of the class. I think we get about 10 minutes, followed by a short Q&A session.
All right. We should definitely rehearse our parts then. No improvising.
Agreed. Now, one more thing, I've been a bit worried about dividing the work fairly. I know we're both busy with other assignments, and I don't want either of us to feel overwhelmed.
I was thinking the same. I think the biggest challenge is just finding enough time between our other classes and part-time jobs.
Yeah, I'm working evenings at the library this week. But I should have free time during the mornings and the weekend. Maybe we can plan a couple of work sessions on Saturday and Sunday.
That works for me. Let's meet at the library cafe. It's usually quiet in the mornings, and they have good coffee too.
Great. I'll bring my laptop and some books I borrowed on hydropower. Oh, and one last thing, we should create a shared folder online so we can upload all our files and drafts in one place.
Absolutely. I'll set that up tonight and send you the link. That way, we'll both have access at any time.
All right, I think we've covered everything. Feeling better about the project now?
Much better. Thanks, Rog. Much better. Thanks, Rog.
Section 4. You will hear part of a lecture about coral reefs. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good morning, everyone. Today's lecture will focus on coral reefs, which are among the most fascinating and diverse ecosystems on the planet. Though they occupy only a small portion of the ocean, their importance is far greater than their size suggests. Coral reefs are formed by tiny marine animals known as polyps. These creatures secrete a calcium carbonate exoskeleton, which accumulates over time to form the hard, rocky structures we associate with reefs. The polyps live together in large colonies, and it's this communal living that enables them to build vast underwater structures over hundreds, or even thousands, of years. Reefs are typically found in shallow, warm waters, especially in tropical and subtropical regions. The Great Barrier Reef off the coast of Australia is perhaps the most famous example, stretching over 2,300 kilometers. But coral reefs are more than just beautiful underwater landscapes. One of their most important functions is that they protect coastlines from erosion by acting as natural barriers. When large waves approach, reefs absorb much of the energy, which helps to prevent storm damage to coastal communities. Although reefs cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, they support about 25% of all marine life. That's right, 1/4 of marine species depend on coral reefs for food, shelter, and breeding grounds. From colorful fish to sea turtles, and from crustaceans to mollusks, a wide variety of organisms call these habitats home. Unfortunately, coral reefs around the world are under serious threat. One of the most widely known dangers is coral bleaching. This occurs when water temperatures rise significantly, often due to climate change. Under stress, the coral polyps expel the algae that live in their tissues. These algae, called zooxanthellae, not only give corals their vibrant color, but also provide them with essential nutrients through photosynthesis. Without the algae, the coral turns white and is more vulnerable to disease and death. But rising sea temperatures are just one part of the problem. Another major issue is pollution, particularly from human activity. Agricultural runoff, sewage, and especially plastic waste can severely damage coral systems. For example, chemicals from sunscreen products have been found to be harmful to coral larvae, disrupting their development. In addition, discarded plastics can smother coral formations and block out sunlight. Overfishing and destructive fishing practices like blast fishing or the use of cyanide further weaken the ecosystem, reducing biodiversity and harming the reef's ability to recover. Even physical damage caused by careless tourists or boat anchors can lead to long-term consequences. So what can be done to protect these vital ecosystems? Firstly, we must reduce carbon emissions globally to limit the effects of climate change. This includes shifting towards renewable energy sources, improving energy efficiency, and enforcing stricter environmental regulations. Governments and organizations around the world are also setting up marine conservation areas or marine protected zones. These areas limit human activity in key reef locations to allow ecosystems to regenerate naturally. Another approach is public education. Many people still don't realize the impact their daily choices, such as the type of sunscreen they use or the seafood they buy, can have on marine life. By spreading awareness and promoting sustainable habits, we can all contribute to reef conservation. In summary, coral reefs are not only stunning natural wonders, but also crucial to the health of our oceans and the planet as a whole. Preserving them requires global cooperation, responsible tourism, sustainable fishing, and active participation from individuals like you and me. Thank you for listening.
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers. That is the end of IELTS Listening Practice Test 3. You now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. The answer key can be found in the description section. Please comment your score below, and make sure to like and subscribe for more IELTS practice content. Good luck with your IELTS preparation.